Jeffrey for decades. Working together in the theater, he appeared in my plays, and later I joined his board of directors and became the ghostwriter of the Letters to Shadow, covertly shaping and wording his jotted down thoughts, and we became friends. Leap ahead to last Saturday when we learned that Jeffrey was found dead in a car. He had bought that car cheap, making it safe enough to drive for a few years. In the process, returning a newer car, at least while employed at Shadow. But he was rebuilding his life, one brick at a time. He was suffering. He had lacked his typical fire for months and months, and now we know why. His future wavered. One doesn't easily separate from one's professional, social, artistic, and spiritual home, no matter a reputation for cleverness and hustle. Jeffrey was in grief. Losing Shadow was like losing a beloved wife, their child, and community.
Yes, it was.
Sad, anxious, not feeling well, he also joked about his predicament and self-pity. Self-pity was a quality he refused to wear, especially when there was work left undone.
All right.
We met for dinner at the steakhouse, where the waitress hugged him, knew his order, fried liver and onions. And caught him up on her going on. He participated in my wife Colleen's new documentary about women, a topic of particularly interest to Jeffrey. Of course, he was great on camera, looking good and picking his moments to insert laughter and insight. As proof, his last Facebook picture was a still taken from video that night at our home. Only Friday, September 4th, did Jeffrey and I make plans to meet and complete a play we are writing, about an African-American man and a white man finding a way in a world they might choose to share. Figuring ways to bring in some cash, he also spoke about getting some singing gigs together. He promised me information that I would write for his personal and professional website. As always, he had a lot he wanted to do. Everyone, it seems, heard from Jeffrey shortly before his death. Interaction warmed him. So I suspect that many of us have, in retrospect, that final call or moment with this extraordinary man. Jeffrey was fed by people. He could be maddening, yet most often forgiving and forgivable. He had a charismatic person's gift to make each of us feel singular, in exchange for the occasional timely adoration. I shall never miss our patented opening exchange. Larry! Jeffrey! That he took Renelda's $500 in a dream and left us a company is no small thing for a poor boy from Philadelphia who had trouble learning in school. No small thing that he was well into manhood before finding himself in theater. No small thing his early star turned as Levy in the Olympians' legendary production of Ma Rainey. The theatrical talent, Jeffrey, Vince Robinson, Dwayne Carrington, Ed Battle, Gwendolyn Hairston, Hugo John Sayles' choreography, Michael Duran's scenery, on that small stage, matching anything I had seen in New York or Chicago. No small thing that he kept Shadow operating out of a shoebox theater, enduring the dozen years that brought him break-ins, awards and support, blizzards, sold-out theaters, box office flops, temperamental designers, actors, board members, city officials. Constant consideration of financial ruin, even being stabbed one night as he walked to his car.
Right.
Through this man, Shadow shows, My Children, My Africa, Joe Turner and many others elevated our community. No small feat that he lived a black street life while navigating among affluent and privileged people.
Well.
No small feat that he constantly found himself among bill collectors and yet sustained and grew an art organization. He liked to quote James Baldwin, "Anyone who has ever struggled with poverty knows how extremely expensive it is to be poor." Like a true dramatic protagonist, he wanted one thing and would do anything to keep Shadow and himself alive. No small thing to see him conflicted between shows he wanted to stage because they spoke to the truth of humanity through an African-American heart, and shows he cynically hoped to save bet to make money to keep the doors open. He moved between ghetto and Shakespeare, and it was never one way. He batted back and forth among the local arts communities, seeking collaboration and resisting those he felt threatened his spirit or integrity. Jeffrey had enormous earthly appetites, yet he spoke from his heart, and while not religious, he proved that rarity, someone whose spiritual life informed his worldly actions.
Amen.
So it makes sense that, even while possessed of an artistic director's ego, he so easily looked past himself, liking anyone who respected him or herself enough to respect him, making employment for other dreamers.
Wow.
Because Jeffrey would not have needed a shadow if elsewhere offered legitimate work as an actor and director. No small thing that he shared a wild and enduring love with many of us. He had much to live for. A granddaughter had been born about the moment his life walked out of Shadow. He had been promised a directing slot for a highly anticipated spring production at another company. He had people looking out for him, just as he had looked out for many of us. In his small condo near Buckley Field, once Air Force, always Air Force. Like all complex people, Jeffrey continues to surprise us. At his small condo, he was cooking meals for others. That he honored signs of his grief lifting at the time of his death makes it doubly sad. Even so, I like to imagine the moment of his passing. Jeffrey tickled and thinking, well, ain't that the shit? If it's true that the final flash is a rapid compilation of our personal life, how full and wide must have been Jeffrey's last thoughts, knowing we are not alone.